After Kate Middleton revealed her cancer diagnosis, it was clear there would be some bloodletting over the conspiracy theories and memes that had been swirling for the previous weeks. Who should we blame for the speculation which, in light of Kate's actual situation, now seems rather cruel? Well, the British state and the British press has an answer.
We know that in the past, countries have tried to interfere and influence elections. Now it seems that the royal family, and in particular the Princess of Wales, have been targeted as well. Now, there's been a huge amount of support since that announcement, you're saying, on Friday. The vast majority of people in the country, vast majority of people watching, very sympathetic and very supportive to her. But in the last few weeks, we haven't just had conspiracy theories, have we? There have been very cruel and sometimes very inhumane comments. Now, some of these, it is being suggested, the worst of it may well have been originated from fake accounts, from bots, originated from propaganda machines in countries such as Russia, China, and also Iran as well.
So, all those memes you saw about photoshopped photographs, all the tweets about potential royal infidelity, and all the TikToks about body doubles, those weren't just the musings of curious members of the public with too much time on their hands, but rather they were the result of malicious subversion by foreign states. It's a story that was first broken by the Daily Telegraph, who splashed it across their front page next to a picture of Kate. But is there actually any evidence for this? Well, this is what's in the Telegraph piece. So on Sunday, it emerged that there was growing concern in Whitehall that hostile state actors could be involved in whipping up the frenzied social media attacks on the princess. A government source told the Telegraph, part of the modus operandi of hostile states is to destabilize things, whether that is undermining the legitimacy of our elections or other institutions. Now, I have to say, reading this, I feel somewhat reassured. It's quite recent sort of that we were worried about sort of 9/11 style terror attacks or nuclear war. You know, in the Cold War, we're worried there's going to be an accidental detonation of a nuclear bomb. I mean, we shouldn't necessarily be too relaxed about that now. But now, the modus operandi of our international enemies is to maybe tweet something mean about a princess. It leaves me not feeling too scared. Maybe the world isn't as dangerous as I thought it was. There's nothing more specific than that to link the current round of speculation about Kate to foreign actors. But the Telegraph did say this. Concerns have been raised in the past about suspicious bot-like Twitter accounts and handles linked to Russian conspiracy theories that have been obsessively tweeting about the Duchess of Sussex. An analysis of accounts that together created a Meghan Markle Twitter community found that around 1,000 highly connected ones that had tweeted more than 2.5 million times over a 6-month period in 2018. One account with the second highest number of pro-Meghan followers, which also tweeted about US politics from a pro-democratic perspective, appeared to indicate bot-like activity, while the fourth most shared account frequently tweeted from Russia Today and questioned Sergei Skripal's near-fatal Novichok poisoning in Salisbury in 2018. Ash, are we seeing an unholy alliance between Russia, China, Iran, and Meghan Markle fans all conspiring to bring down Britain's royal family?
I'm afraid, Michael, that we are. I have it from some very well-placed sources in Beijing that, in fact, Chinese Premier Xi Jinping was personally behind the Kate Middleton has had a Brazilian butt lift rumors. And, Vladimir Putin is the one going, oh, should we drop some innuendo about Rose Hanbury, the Marchioness of Cholmondeley? This is really scraping the bottom of the barrel from the Telegraph here, but it's something, I think, which is both in the British media and the British royal family's interest, because the speculation and the conspiracism was a product of poor PR from the royal family. They shared a photoshopped image. They had this bizarre narrative around Kate Middleton, including saying that she was working from home on a special project. Turns out that special project was cancer. It was a horrible, horrible thing to say, to try and distract people and get them off the scent. And in fact, it just fueled even further speculation, which I can imagine from a human level, if you're the person at the center of it, is quite horrible to experience. But that is something which has been caused by the royal family's own communication strategy. And of course, was, tacitly and nudge, nudge, wink, wink, encouraged by newspapers and much of the mainstream media as well. So rather than looking at their own practices, instead, what you've got, I think, is a sort of typical blame it all on social media angle with a nice helping of geopolitical paranoia. I mean, I can believe that there are well connected accounts which are from, Russian bot farms. I can believe that. That's plausible. But that's had nothing to do with the rumor mill concerning Kate Middleton. That has all been, I'm afraid, the work of some proper cack-handed crisis management from the heart of Buckingham Palace.
I mean, this is a conspiracy theory, isn't it? I think what this misses really is that most of the speculation was quite light-hearted. Like most of the memes were just sort of people, no one really thought Kate had a Brazilian butt lift. And, I'm not sure many people really thought that the Photoshop picture was actually superimposed from a Vogue photo shoot a couple of years earlier, right? But people wanted something to do on the internet. And now, yes, in retrospect, now we know that Kate has cancer. It does seem like it was a bit mean, right? But people didn't know that at the time. All people knew was that the royal family were doing some really bizarre things, like putting out photoshopped images of themselves. So I don't think we need to think that deeply about kind of any of this, really. Ash, on Friday, you predicted Meghan would be blamed for Kate's cancer diagnosis. Now, I always thought that was a pretty safe bet. I wouldn't have put money against that bet, and it has happened. This was the Daily Mail's Andrew Pearce interviewing the Daily Mail's Sarah Vine on GB News.
The King is struggling with his own recovery from cancer or his treatment from cancer. Harry and Meghan?
Well, they seem to be sort of ignoring the whole thing completely, don't they?
They sent a private message, apparently.
Yes, yeah, that's it. I mean, they really do need to apologise. Can I just say that? I mean, because
stress is a major factor in cancer.
Stress is a major factor in cancer. Ash, there's Andrew Pearce on the money.
I mean, if anything, this was restrained from GB News. I think that they could have gone with some lashings of racial innuendo if they wanted to. Meghan Markle, melanin, sounds like melanoma. Do you follow my reasoning here? I mean, they really could have gone all in. They could have said that, Meghan Markle was working with, Black Lives Matter, Oprah, and a Chinese manufactured ray gun to, spread cancer amongst the royal family. I mean, all this stuff would be just as evidence-free as what Andrew Pearce suggested. And I think that this does show the obscenity that is British royal coverage, which is, as long as you say disgusting, intrusive things with a very serious and somber and sort of superficially respectful tone, then it's fair game. But it's just as, I think if in some ways it's tackier and, more depraved than most of what you see going on social media, which at least has a sense of humor about it.
As I think we've made clear, that the discourse around Kate, Meghan, the royal family in general is a bit of a fact-free zone, but I was genuinely interested in the question of whether stress does cause cancer. It's something that gets said a lot. I don't think that if stress were to cause cancer, that would implicate Meghan Markle. But it's an interesting question. And this is what Cancer Research UK say on their website. No, being stressed doesn't directly increase the risk of cancer. The best quality studies have followed up many people for several years. They have found no evidence that those who are more stressed are more likely to get cancer. Some people wonder whether stress causes breast cancer, but overall, the evidence for this has been poor. And a large study of over 100,000 women in the UK in 2016 showed no consistent evidence between stress and breast cancer. Now, Cancer Research UK did sort of qualify this a bit. They said it might be the case that it can be harder for some people to keep healthy during stressful times. And if you're struggling to keep healthy, that can lead to an increased risk of cancer, i.e. stress itself doesn't cause cancer, but if stress causes you to take up smoking, or if stress stops you eating well, or I suppose potentially sleeping well, I'm not sure if a lack of sleep causes cancer, but anyway, they're sort of saying indirectly stress could. And so that does mean, in Mr. Pearce's defense, if Meghan had caused Kate stress, which had then caused her to live an unhealthy lifestyle, then yes, she could have, in theory, very indirectly caused Kate to get cancer, which of course would vindicate all of the British media in their hounding of Harry and Meghan out of Britain. So Fabulous journalism from GB News, as always, and from two commentators from the Daily Mail speaking to each other on mainstream TV, streamed into everyone's living rooms.